And welcome. Very important topic for today, ADHD. Thank you for the mothers who've been reminding me to do this program. Alhamdulillah, so I'm getting that. It's very detailed. There's a lot to learn about ADHD. So, inshallah, I want to try and do this over. There'll be 12 videos. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're starting today with video number 1, the introduction. When we talk about ADHD types, the causes, the childhood ADHD, adult behavior, symptoms, treatment, and the role of video games. Okay, very simple terms. Attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. As what I said, my philosophy, make everything as simple as possible. So just think of a seesaw. Seesaw, attention is low, attention deficit. Low attention, but the activity is high. Hyperactivity. High activity, low attention. In simple terms, that's ADHD. Okay, but it's more common than what we think. Worldwide, I think there's about 300 to 400 million people who've got it. So it's a very common disorder, but many times it goes undiagnosed. Now, in first world countries, America, Canada, Britain, Australia, Sweden, it's very well detected. They've got tremendous resources for it. Here in South Africa, because of limited resources in various parts of Africa, in other countries, India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Afghanistan, in middle of Africa, underreported because the resources are not there and many people go undiagnosed. Okay, so let's get to it. Main thing, my main passion here is we need to just get one message through. Let's end the stigma. Please, if we only learn one thing from this series, let's end the stigma. So please, my appeal is to everybody, please end the stigma around ADHD. This is my appeal. Let's end the stigma because there's a lot of stigma around it. Stigma occurs because of ignorance. So we need to spread knowledge, spread these videos, share these videos with others. We need to share knowledge. And now, very soon, we're coming to October. It's now July. Today is, apologize, I got flu. It's winter now, but it's 1st of July. Today is Monday, 1st of July. Excuse me. October is ADHD Awareness Month. Okay, let's get into it. So I'll just keep this on the side. Just to remind you, today is video 1 in a series of 12 videos. Inshallah, I mean. I'm going to extend the video. It's not going to end by video 12. I found a fascinating article. I just came across it. This is in the journal, South African Journal of Psychiatry. Okay. And it's on the open access article. That means I have permission to quote from this article. I'm going to quote extensively from it, and I'm going to probably make another 2-3 videos on it towards the end. This is by Skuman R and Vogus T, and the article is called ADHD Stigma, the Silent Barrier to Care. What a fabulous article, and that's in the South African Journal of Psychiatry. That's over there. You can see it over there, and that's the qualifications or just some features about I don't know if it's Dr. or Professor Skuman and Dr. or Professor Vogus, but they're from Stellenbosch. Lekker bly in Stellenbosch. I love Stellenbosch. I love the Stellenbosch people in Cape Town. Lekker bly Cape Town. Maybe one day I'll go stay there in Cape Town. Right? Lekker bly Stellenbosch University. Well done. Fabulous article about removing the stigma. Let's remove the stigma about ADHD. So this entire journal article, I'll do an additional 1 or 2 videos at the end of the series. So after number 12, I want to do maybe 1 or 2 just based on this journal article. Right, let's get to it. What is ADHD? ADHD is a kind of a neurodiverse. There's different words. Some people don't want to use the word mental problem. They call it a neurodevelopmental problem, or they call it a neurodiversity problem. But it has to do with the brain. So I like to call it a brain development problem. But when you talk to your friends and family to try and simplify it, if your child is suffering from ADHD, let's remove the stigma. So whenever you say, no, he's got a bit of a development problem, always mention there's some parts of the brain that are weak, but other parts are very good, because people with ADHD got a part of the brain that's very intelligent. You might just say that doctors are finding it difficult. They're just trying to figure out which is the intelligent part of the brain. So always look at it from a positive point of view. There's always some intelligence in the brain, and the job of the ADHD experts is to find the intelligent part. Okay, so just remember that, please. So if ADHD isn't diagnosed during childhood, a lot of adults can have this condition and live perfectly normal lives. Okay, so just remember, they can live perfectly normal lives. So let's remove the stigma of ADHD. I'll just put this on here just as an ongoing reminder as we are going through this ADHD. So ADHD is a neurodevelopmental disorder characterized by difficulty sustaining attention. Sustaining attention, hyperactivity, impulsivity, or combination of both. Okay. Individual with ADHD may struggle to resist impulses. They just want to do what they want to, or to follow directions. They're very hyper, very hyper. They struggle to complete tasks and they struggle to remain seated. They got like ants in their pants running all over the show. However, people with this condition can also deeply focus. This is a positive side. They also got the ability to focus. Right? Our job is to find out what they're going to focus, what interests them. They can deeply focus on certain subjects that inspire them and tend to be extremely creative individuals. So our job is to find out what are they good at. So it's usually diagnosed in childhood and often lasts into adulthood. It's among the most common mental conditions in children ages between 3 to 17 years old. An estimated 80% of US children, this is about stats in US, I don't know about South Africa, but when you read the South African Journal, I'll read you those stats. So 80% of US children diagnosed with ADHD receive treatment. So in America, in first world countries, 80% of the children, they get the treatment. They receive the treatment. But in our country, if you're living in poor conditions, if you have a problem with medical aid, or if you have financial problems, in our country, maybe the ratio is reversed. Maybe only 20% get treatment. I don't know. The statistics are very difficult, but studies have shown that in first world countries, 80% of them get treatment, whereas in Africa and other places, maybe 80% don't get treatment. This is a sad reality of it. Okay. So 30% approximately, these are very rough figures. 1/3 are treated with both medication and behavioral treatment. 1/3 are treated with medication alone, and 1/3 receive behavioral treatment alone. Always start with behavioral treatment. Don't just jump to medication. Medication, use it as a second resort. About 40 to 50% of children diagnosed with ADHD maintain their symptoms as adults. Individuals with ADHD often experience a myriad of challenges, including difficulty concentrating, staying organized, and managing time, which can have a drastic impact on daily functioning and lead to long-term problems such as academic failure or difficulties in interpersonal relationships. The best medical advice is to early diagnose, and intervention services are essential for recognizing and managing the signs of ADHD. More flexible work and school environments, adequate access to healthcare. See, adequate access to healthcare and societal awareness. We need to make the society aware what is going on, and let's get rid of the stigma. Please, let's remove the stigma. We need to share knowledge about ADHD. This can drastically improve the outcome for both children and adults with ADHD. The average age for an ADHD diagnosis is about 7, but sometimes they can be diagnosed earlier as well. Boys are more likely to be diagnosed than girls, with approximately 12% of boys aged 3 to 17 diagnosed compared to 6% of girls. So boys, double the boys, maybe because they're so hyperactive. Boys are so hyperactive all the time, so they pick them up quickly, whereas the girls are quiet. In a classroom, a teacher will say, this guy is so hyperactive, so they pick them up quickly. We say that boy is naughty, so we use the word naughty, but we don't know it's ADHD. Whereas the girl are more introvert, they'll just sit quietly, but they also got ADHD, so it's very difficult. We've got to ascertain. So only half the girls are picked up. So boys are more likely to be diagnosed because of behavior difficulties, and girls are overlooked because their symptoms present differently. One is up, one is down. It's important to educate teachers and parents on what to look for with regards to ADHD, such as these are things we look for: daydreaming all the time, just thinking about everything, interrupting conversations, impulsive behavior, talking too much in class, and really disrupt the whole class. So that's why teachers pick it up very quickly. Instead of punishing the child, try and figure out what it is. So we need to educate our teachers as well. A proper ADHD diagnosis during childhood will give the children the opportunity to meet their potential as students and as adults. Early intervention can help children avoid many of the difficulties associated with ADHD, such as difficulty with their school grades, their marks, their exams, relationships, and other mental health problems such as anxiety and depression, which can coexist. ADHD is more likely to go undetected in adults than in children, because adults, they have the ability to hide these things. ADHD can have a significant negative impact on the lives of adults. Adults with untreated ADHD are more likely to experience job and relationship instability, stress, substance abuse, and car accidents. Identifying and treating adult ADHD can have a dramatic and rapid improvement in the lives of the individuals. So my best wishes to all the mothers. This is the end of the first video. I want to keep it short because in case you want to share this with your child, if you sit with your ADHD child, you can show them these videos. So I want to keep them short because of the attention span. So I don't want to make a 2-hour program. I'm making this a 2-hour program. I'm making it into short bite-sized chunks of just 10 minutes each, just 10 minutes. So I want to make it as simple as possible so we can get the message across. We need to get the message across. So the summary for today is we have attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, low attention span. So it's like a seesaw. On the other hand, we have the activity levels are very high, very disruptive. But we need to understand and love these people. We need to understand what they are going through. And we need to please end the stigma around ADHD. And I will be talking after this. I want to intend making. Today we started with video number 1. This is introduction. And we're going to talk about the various treatment modalities, the different types of behavior, the different types of questionnaires, and different type of tests that you can go through. So my initial plan was to do only 12. And then just at the last minute, at the 11th hour, I came across this fabulous article in the South African Journal of Psychiatry by Skuman and Vogels called ADHD Stigma, the Silent Barrier to Care. And that's in the South African Journal of Psychiatry. And we'll look into that. So stay well. As what I said, what my philosophy always is that, you know what, we know that life is difficult, but what do? We don't quit. Okay, we don't quit. Stay well, and please give me your thoughts. And the main thing is let's share knowledge. Let's create awareness. In October we're having the ADHD month, so please let's create awareness. The more awareness we can create around ADHD, the more we can fight the stigma. So let's remove the stigma around ADHD. Look after yourself. See you in the next video. Stay well. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen.